Returning home for the new year, I barely had time to sit down before Emily Johnson called me out to hang out.
You rarely come back for the new year. Come join us for a gathering.
I didn't really want to go, but I also didn't want to stay home and listen to my parents nagging me about finding a partner. It was better to go out and give my ears a break. Before leaving, I habitually grabbed a few lollipops from the table. I took a cab to the address Emily sent me and was about to go in, but it was my first time there, and the door seemed a bit high-tech. Just then, a slender hand pushed the door open and made way for me.
You go in first.
I looked up to see a handsome guy with good-looking hands and a pleasant voice. It was like fate for someone like me who was attracted to voices, hands, and looks. But I chickened out and didn't ask for his WeChat. Inside, it was a relatively quiet bar. Emily pulled me to sit down and started chatting. At that moment, I saw the handsome guy sitting at a booth diagonally across from us, with about 4 or 5 other guys. I thought this was my chance and suggested a game.
Let's play spin the bottle and truth or dare.
I gave Emily a look towards the booth diagonally across from us. With our years of understanding, I believe she got my hint.
I'll spin first.
She then showcased her well-practiced bottle spinning skills, aiming it at whoever she wanted. Emily winked at me, and the bottle pointed at me.
Oh, it landed on Chloe Smith. Truth or dare?
I secretly laughed to myself.
I'll choose dare.
Then go to that table and ask a guy for his WeChat.
I bit down on the lollipop in my mouth, threw the stick into the trash can under the table, and was about to get up when I saw my fated one leave his seat. It was too late to back out of the dare, so I had to muster up the courage to ask the guy next to his seat, hoping to get his WeChat through this guy. Luckily, I had dressed up nicely for the gathering, and the guy agreed. As he showed me his QR code, my fated one returned, scaring me into quickly scanning the code, saying thanks, and fleeing from that table. Back at their booth, Chloe couldn't shake off the low spirits and kept glancing towards the diagonal booth.
This is such a mess. Would trying to add him later make me seem fickle and indecisive?
Her phone buzzed with a message from the guy she had just added on WeChat, asking for a note.
Hi, I'm Chloe Smith.
Nice to meet you, Chloe. I'm David Anderson.
Chloe politely sent a smiley face and then put her phone away, continuing to play the game with everyone. But she couldn't help occasionally glancing over at the booth where her crush was sitting, laughing and chatting with his friends.
Could he already have a girlfriend?
Just as she was pondering this, a stylish woman walked in and headed towards their booth. She greeted all the guys warmly and finally sat next to Chloe's crush. During a break in the game, Chloe and Emily chatted in the restroom about the stylish woman sitting next to her crush.
Maybe she's his sister or some relative, not a girlfriend.
Chloe, if she were a relative, why would she know all his friends at a gathering? Don't fool yourself. There are plenty of fish in the sea.
That lady is really pretty and mature. If I were a guy, I'd like someone like her too. Unlike us, who still look like middle schoolers even though we've graduated from college 2 years ago.
Speak for yourself. I'm quite fashionable. Thank you very much.
Chloe rolled her eyes and then nudged Emily out of the restroom. As soon as they turned the corner, they saw the stylish woman. Oh no, Chloe hoped she didn't hear their conversation. After the gathering, Chloe went home and grabbed another lollipop.
Didn't you say your tooth hurts? Eating candy at night will only make it worse. You're still single and your teeth are already a mess.
Mom, I'll go to bed now and find a partner tomorrow, okay?
Her mom walked over, pulled the lollipop out of her mouth, and threw it in the trash.
You need to go to bed early tonight. Your dad's colleague is coming over tomorrow, so get up early and don't walk around in your pajamas.
All right, I'll dress up nicely. Then she went to the bathroom to wash up.
The next morning, Chloe's mom dragged her out of bed to get ready for breakfast. At the table, Chloe ate stiffly while holding her aching tooth.
Sweetie, I'll take you to the hospital to check your tooth in a few days.
Okay, Dad.
After breakfast, her dad's colleague arrived with his wife. Chloe greeted Uncle Tom and Aunt Mary. Chloe wanted to retreat to her room, but her mom's stern look kept her on the sofa.
Does Chloe have a boyfriend now?
Chloe's mom perked up. As the night unfolded, Emily Johnson and I found ourselves playing a thrilling game of truth or dare at our favorite bar. I gave Emily a knowing look towards the booth diagonally across from us.
I'll spin first.
With a well-practiced flick of her wrist, Emily spun the bottle, aiming it directly at me. She shot me a mischievous wink as the bottle landed on me.
Oh, it landed on Chloe Smith. Truth or dare?
I'll choose dare.
Then go to that table and ask a guy for his WeChat.
I bit down on the lollipop in my mouth, tossed the stick into the trash can under the table, and was about to get up when I saw my fated one leave his seat. It was too late to back out of the dare, so I had to muster up the courage to ask the guy next to his seat for his WeChat.
Hi, can I have your WeChat?
Luckily, I had dressed up nicely for the gathering, and the guy agreed. As he showed me his QR code, my fated one returned, scaring me into quickly scanning the code, saying thanks, and fleeing from the table. Chloe was lost in thought, jolted back to reality by a sudden pain in her tooth. She shivered, and her little lamb slippers fell off her feet. The dental chair didn't require her to take off her shoes, much like a barber's chair. Chloe felt cold in the air, but more than that, she felt utterly embarrassed.
Shy, I need to get my slipper.
She was about to get up when Dr. Thomas pressed down on her shoulder.
Serious, don't move.
He took off his gloves, picked up her slipper, and put it back on her foot. Thank goodness, Chloe's dad finally returned from the restroom at that moment.
Serious. Tom Jr., how's my daughter's tooth? Does it need to be pulled?
Dr. Thomas stood up and explained.
Serious, Uncle, she has dental caries, which is just a cavity. It's not too bad right now, we just need to fill it. If it gets worse, it could lead to pulpitis, which would require a root canal treatment.
Hopeful. You should eat less candy. You're an adult now and still getting cavities. Tom Jr., please use the best material for her filling.
Dr. Thomas sat at the computer desk and started typing.
Friendly, Uncle, no problem. I'll write up the order, and you can go pay. I'll start filling her tooth in the meantime.
While he was talking to her dad, Chloe began messaging Emily Johnson to vent.
Whispering through text, who would have thought? I came to get my tooth checked, and the doctor turned out to be that handsome guy.
Excited through text, wow, what a coincidence. You should seize this opportunity. You have the advantage of proximity.
Whispering through text, and he's my dad's colleague's son, no less. But the problem is, I came here with no makeup, looking shabby, and my slipper just fell off. My image is ruined.
Chloe was so engrossed in her complaints that she didn't notice Dr. Thomas had returned to sit beside her.
Serious, are you done chatting? I need to start filling your tooth.
Startled, Chloe hurriedly locked her phone screen, but it lit up again, displaying his photo as her wallpaper. She quickly covered it, praying he hadn't seen it. The filling process was excruciating. Chloe was very sensitive to pain, but to salvage whatever image she had left in his eyes, she endured the pain in silence. On the way home, her dad praised her.
Hopeful. You used to cry out during fillings but have grown stronger now.
Internally, Chloe thought, it's not strength, it's saving face. Back home, Chloe was about to eat a lollipop when her dad stopped her.
Serious. Honey, Tom Jr. mentioned some precautions. No hard foods and no brushing your teeth for 24 hours to avoid dislodging the filling.
Chloe nodded and put the lollipop down. Lying in bed, she replayed every moment she had encountered Dr. Thomas, from the first meeting to seeing him at the hospital today.
Excited on the phone, your middle school crush will be at tonight's gathering. Are you coming?
Serious, no, thanks. My heart belongs to Dr. Thomas now.
Shouting, why are you fixated on one person? We're going to that same bar tonight, you might run into Dr. Thomas again.
After some thought, Chloe agreed and started getting ready. Chloe Smith glanced towards the booth diagonally across from her. With years of camaraderie, she believed Emily Johnson would catch her drift.
I'll spin first.
Emily showcased her well-practiced bottle spinning skills, aiming it precisely. She winked at Chloe as the bottle pointed towards her.
Oh, it landed on Chloe Smith. Truth or dare?
I'll choose dare.
Then go to that table and ask a guy for his contact.
Chloe bit down on the lollipop in her mouth, tossed the stick into the trash can, and was about to get up when she saw her fated one leave his seat. It was too late to back out, so she gathered her courage to ask the guy next to his seat, hoping to get his contact through him. Luckily, Chloe had dressed up nicely for the gathering, and the guy agreed. As he showed her his QR code, her fated one returned, startling her into quickly scanning the code, saying thanks, and fleeing from that table. Chloe watched him walk to the innermost booth without even glancing her way, despite having met earlier that day. After her middle school crush finished the next 3 push-ups with her in his arms, Chloe felt a hollow emptiness. She told everyone she wasn't feeling well and wanted to go home and rest.
Need me to come with you?
You guys keep playing. It's bad enough that I'm leaving halfway, don't let me drag you along. I'll message you when I get home.
In the taxi home, Chloe opened her phone to see a string of friend requests, likely from Emily's social media post, and ignored them all.
I don't know any of these people. Why add them?
She only wanted to add one person, but didn't dare. He hadn't even acknowledged her today. When she got home, her mom came into her room to probe.
Sweetie, that person you like, any progress? Any photos to show me?
No, don't think about it.
Forced relationships aren't sweet. How about Uncle Tom's son? Aunt Mary and I seem to have the same idea.
Chloe wanted to tell her mom that Uncle Tom's son was the one she hadn't made any progress with, but didn't want to complicate the adults' relationships.
Mom, you said forced relationships aren't sweet. Besides, didn't I go to the hospital today? If we hit it off, you and Aunt Mary wouldn't need to set us up.
Her mom left the room and went to the balcony to make a phone call, whispering who knows what. Chloe changed her screensaver back to her favorite idol to avoid any unnecessary misunderstandings. The next day, Chloe's mom woke her up from her sleep.
Sweetie, I'm taking you to the hospital today. Get ready.
Why the hospital?
Opening the curtains, her mom turned to her.
To check your teeth. Tom Jr. told me you need a follow-up, and I want to take you for a cleaning.
Mom, how do you have Dr. Thomas's contact?
I called Aunt Mary yesterday, and she told me.
Unable to argue, Chloe had to go to the hospital with her mom. Lying on the treatment bed, she felt any hope with him was gone. With cavities and a cleaning, he saw all the dirt on her teeth. How could she date anyone? As he prepared the tools, her mom whispered in her ear.
I'll step out. When you're done, I'll come back. Spend some time alone together and see how it goes.
After her mom left, Chloe's middle school crush messaged her, asking if she was busy.
At the hospital for a dental checkup.
What's wrong with your teeth? Wisdom teeth.
No, cavities.
I remember you loved lollipops in middle school. Do you have time tonight?
Why? What's up?
A movie I think you'd like. Want to watch it with me?
Strange, why did he suddenly want to watch a movie with her after years of no contact? Was it because of yesterday? In a cozy café, Chloe Smith and Emily Johnson were sitting across from each other, engaged in a lively conversation.
Glancing towards the booth diagonally across from them, Emily, look over there.
With their years of understanding, Chloe believed Emily got her hint.
I'll spin first.
Emily showcased her well-practiced bottle spinning skills, aiming it at whoever she wanted. She winked at Chloe as the bottle pointed at her.
Oh, it landed on Chloe Smith. Truth or dare?
I'll choose dare.
Then go to that table and ask a guy for his WeChat.
Chloe bit down on the lollipop in her mouth, threw the stick into the trash can under the table, and was about to get up when she saw her fated one leave his seat. It was too late to back out of the dare, so Chloe had to muster up the courage to ask the guy next to his seat, hoping to get his WeChat through this guy. Luckily, Chloe had dressed up nicely for the gathering, and the guy agreed. As he showed her his QR code, her fated one returned, staring Chloe into quickly scanning the code, saying thanks, and fleeing from that table. After ending the conversation, I realized I still had him saved as Prince Charming in my contacts. I quickly changed it back to his name. Habitually, I picked up a lollipop, but seeing my mom's sharp gaze, I put it down again.
The day after tomorrow is the winter solstice. I've arranged for Aunt Mary to come over and make dumplings together. This isn't a discussion, it's a notice for you not to make other plans.
Got it.
Today, I was woken up by the doorbell. Suppressing my morning grumpiness, I threw on a robe and went to open the door. To my surprise, standing there was my destined match. He seemed slightly taken aback by my disheveled appearance in pajamas, then smiled.
Aunt Mary asked me to come up first.
I hastily found him a pair of slippers.
Make yourself comfortable.
I quickly dashed back to my room. After tidying up, I hid in my room, too embarrassed to come out. I picked up my phone to message my mom, only to see she had texted me half an hour earlier. We're out buying meat and dumpling wrappers. Tom Jr. will come up first. Get up and let him in, then entertain him. But I had missed the message because my phone disconnects from the internet while I sleep. Half an hour later, my mom still hadn't returned. How long does it take to buy meat, for heaven's sake? Not wanting to leave him sitting alone outside, I reluctantly went out and started some awkward small talk.
These oranges are quite sweet. By the way, Dr. Thomas, I don't know your first name. It's awkward to keep calling you Dr. Thomas.
Watching his slender fingers peel the orange, I wished I could trade places with it.
My name is Thomas.
Thomas? Which characters are those?
Thomas, as in the poet Sushir's line Xiaoxiao muyu ziguati.
Sushir's poem, right? Uncle Tom and Aunt Mary sure know how to pick names. And what a coincidence, I'm Chloe Smith, the same Xiaoxiao you just mentioned. But my parents named me that simply because both their surnames are Smith, nothing to do with the poem.
Just as I was struggling to find the next topic, my mom finally opened the door, and I felt a ray of hope.
Daughter, did you get something for Tom Jr. to eat?
After greeting Aunt Mary, I told my mom I had. Thomas walked to the door, took the items from my mom and Aunt Mary, then turned to me.
Should these go in the kitchen or on the dining table?
There were quite a few things, so I intended to take half from him, but he dodged.
I'll show you where to put them.
The process of making dumplings was lively, but the liveliness belonged to Tom Jr. and the two moms, while Chloe remained mostly silent. Before Tom Jr. left, Chloe's mom gave a significant push.
Tom Jr., why don't you exchange contact information with Chloe Smith? Our Chloe is starting to work here this year. She was out of town for the past few years. You two can go out for a movie or something.
Aunt Mary, I already added her on WeChat, but she didn't accept.
Both Mary and Aunt Mary looked at Chloe, puzzled.
When did you add me?
Maybe Chloe has too many messages and didn't notice.
This girl is so scatterbrained. Now, you two quickly add each other.
He scanned Chloe's QR code, said goodbye to Mary, and Chloe said goodbye to Aunt Mary. After they left, Mary dragged Chloe to the sofa.
Why do I feel like you and Tom Jr. already know each other? Spill the truth.
Chloe recounted everything from their first meeting to today, including her instant crush on him.
So, Tom Jr. is the one you like? That's great. This match seems promising.
Mom, I don't think he's interested in me. He barely spoke to me.
Sweetie, trust me, Tom Jr. definitely likes you. He glanced at you several times while making dumplings. I caught him.
Recalling her mom's words, Chloe started to smile foolishly. She checked the previous friend requests and realized he had tried to add her on the day they played the King's game. Unfortunately, she had automatically categorized him as someone who added her after seeing Emily's posts. Chloe wanted to message him but couldn't find a suitable reason. As she pondered, her tongue touched her wisdom tooth, and an idea struck her. She decided to see him the next day. Her wisdom tooth was actually fine, but she decided to use it as an excuse to see him. When Chloe arrived at the hospital, he wasn't there. She asked the kind nurse from that day, and she said Dr. Thomas was off duty today. Chloe sat in the hospital for another 10 minutes, ready to head home empty-handed, when she saw him running in. I glanced at Emily Johnson, signaling her towards the booth diagonally across from us. With our years of friendship, I knew she would understand my hint.
I'll spin first.
She then showcased her well-practiced bottle spinning skills, aiming it at whoever she wanted. Emily Johnson winked at me, and the bottle pointed at me.
Oh, it landed on Chloe Smith. Truth or dare?
I'll choose dare.
Then go to that table and ask a guy for his WeChat.
I bit down on the lollipop in my mouth, threw the stick into the trash can under the table, and was about to get up when I saw my fated one leave his seat. It was too late to back out of the dare, so I had to muster up the courage to ask the guy next to his seat, hoping to get his WeChat through this guy. Luckily, I had dressed up nicely for the gathering, and the guy agreed. As he showed me his QR code, my fated one returned, scaring me into quickly scanning the code, saying thanks, and fleeing from that table. After I got home, he messaged me.
Do you have any plans for New Year's Eve?
No, why?
Would you like to go to the movies?
Sure, what time?
10 p.m. I'll pick you up at 9 p.m. from your place.
Okay.
Smiling at my phone while eating dumplings, my mom came over.
Seems like things are progressing.
Mom, will you come shopping for a dress with me tomorrow?
Of course, you need to look your best for a date.
On New Year's Eve, I started getting ready 5 hours in advance, washing my hair, taking a shower, putting on makeup, and changing clothes. At 9 p.m., he messaged me from downstairs, asking me to come down.
Tonight, I'll make sure to win over your future son-in-law.
I'll be waiting for the good news.
During the movie, I was genuinely engrossed. When he said he needed to step out for a moment and would be right back, I casually replied.
Okay, go ahead.
As the movie was about to end, he returned with a bouquet of roses, sat beside me, and whispered,
Chloe, I like you. Will you be my girlfriend?
I looked at him, smiled, nodded, and took the roses from his hand. Among the roses were various flavored lollipops. When the movie ended, a line appeared on the screen: love, lose, but never regret meeting.
Our meeting will only bring love, no loss.
As the clock struck midnight, we walked out of the cinema, and magnificent fireworks lit up the sky.
Dr. Thomas, let's take a photo.
He held my phone, crouched down so I could rest my head on his shoulder. At 12:21 a.m., I posted on social media.
Boyfriend, flawless, just showing off.
The picture was of us, with me leaning on his shoulder, smiling, while he looked at me with a grin, and the background filled with vibrant fireworks. At 12:23 a.m., he posted,
Happy New Year, girlfriend.
The picture was a screenshot of my post. Emily Johnson and I exchanged knowing glances across the booth. Our years of friendship granted us an unspoken understanding.
I'll spin first.
Emily spun the bottle skillfully, aiming it precisely. She winked at me as it landed.
Oh, it landed on Chloe Smith. Truth or dare?
I'll choose dare.
Then go to that table and ask a guy for his WeChat.
I bit down on the lollipop in my mouth and discarded the stick. Just as I was about to get up, my fated one left his seat. No backing out now.
Excuse me, could I get your WeChat?
Fortunately, my outfit for the gathering did its charm, and the guy agreed. As he showed me his QR code, my fated one returned. I quickly scanned the code, thanked him, and fled back to my table. Today was my day off, and I planned to pass the time at home with a puzzle. Just as I was about to start, David Anderson called.
Dr. Thomas, come to the gathering. Don't tell me you're busy. I know you're off these days.
I put down my phone, turned on the speaker, and picked up a puzzle piece.
I need to visit my parents and buy some supplements for them.
Don't give me that. You can visit Uncle Tom and Aunt Mary another day. I'll send you the address. Come quickly.
Before I could respond, David hung up. I had no choice but to pack up the puzzle I had just started and change my clothes to head out. Walking down the street, I saw a little boy fall not far ahead. I was about to help him up when a girl with a lollipop squatted in front of him, so I stopped.
Little brother, stand up and don't cry. We boys need to be strong. How about I show you a magic trick?
The boy sniffled, held back his tears, and nodded. She performed a series of magical gestures, leaving the boy bewildered. Then she took out a lollipop from her pocket.
Abracadabra! Here you go.
She placed the lollipop in the boy's hand. As she stood up, another lollipop fell out of her pocket. She picked it up and said to the boy,
Little brother, can you save one for me? Otherwise I'll cry too.
I couldn't help but laugh at her words. Fortunately, the boy's parents called out for him, drowning out my laughter. After thanking the girl, they took the boy away. I stood there, watching as the girl got into her car and drove off. When I arrived at the bar, I saw the same girl struggling with the door, still with a lollipop in her mouth. I figured if I didn't help her, she might end up crying at the door.
Why did you take so long?
I saw two kids fighting over a lollipop on the way and watched for a bit.
My phone screen showed a call from my parents, so I went to the restroom to answer it. When I returned, I saw her asking David for his WeChat. I felt a bit uncomfortable but didn't show it.
Her name is Chloe Smith. Chloe is in the evening rain.
I felt a strange flutter in my heart. Later, Olivia Carter said she overheard a conversation in the restroom. It turned out Chloe was interested in me. That was great news. Today, I visited my parents and coincidentally ran into their colleague visiting our home. The colleague seemed to want to introduce her daughter to me, and my mom was on board with the idea. As they passed around the daughter's photo, I sat behind them, and it looked like the girl with the lollipop from that day. My dad mentioned I was a dentist, and the colleague immediately said,
Our Chloe has had a toothache for a while.
Chloe, it was indeed her. My dad quickly suggested,
You should visit Dr. Thomas in the next couple of days and let her check Chloe's teeth.
The colleague looked at me, and I nodded.
Uncle, bring her over tomorrow. I'll be available all day.
When I checked her teeth, she was surprised to see me. I thought to myself, did she expect David Anderson? Later, she accidentally revealed her phone wallpaper, which was a photo of me. That made me very happy. After work, I asked David for her WeChat, but she never accepted my request. I went to the bar, hoping to run into her, only to see her being carried princess style by another guy. And when I checked her teeth again, I pretended to look at the time, and her wallpaper had changed to another guy. She moved on so quickly. Humph. After getting married, we bought an apartment in my neighborhood as our home. The main reason was that it was close to both our workplaces and near my parents, making it convenient for mutual care. I now have a standard 9-to-5 job, while he occasionally has to work overtime. When he's not home, I go to my parents' house for meals. When he's home, he cooks.
I'm really not good in the kitchen. The last time my in-laws visited, he happened to be working late, so I tried to cook a meal and nearly set the kitchen on fire.
When he came back, he was greeted by 3 stern faces.
It's okay, dear. From now on, Alice Brown can do the cooking.
After that, I was banned from the kitchen. My parents always nag me about my love for lollipops because our table is always piled high with various flavors.
Dr. Thomas said I can eat them whenever I want, and he'll fix my teeth anytime.
My mom would start packing up the lollipops on the table.
He's just spoiling you. I'm taking these away.
When he got home from work and saw the table devoid of lollipops, he asked,
Your parents were here, huh? No more lollipops?
I nodded, feeling wronged.
It's okay. I'll buy you more tomorrow.
No need. I won't eat lollipops anymore.
He brought out a plate of strawberries from the kitchen and placed it in front of me.
Why?
I took the strawberries he handed me.
My mom is right. I shouldn't eat so much sugar. If I want something sweet, I'll just...
You'll just what?
I picked up a strawberry, put half in my mouth, and leaned towards his lips, signaling him to bite the other half.
I'll just eat you, Dr. Thomas. How about that?
Okay.
Then slowly, he leaned in and kissed me, our mouths filled with the taste of strawberries. After a long while, our lips parted, and he smiled.
Strawberries are delicious.